Stay tuned and let's check out this Marvel Legends Secret Wars Iceman. Pow, and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And remember, now you can hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Today we are taking a look at this Marvel Legends Secret Wars Iceman. Now, of course, we've seen the Secret Wars packaging before, but I am happy to see it continue, hopefully more on the way, because it itself is a tribute to the first Marvel action figure toy line from Mattel over 40 years ago. And Iceman was a part of that original toy line, as he was a European exclusive along with Electro and Constrictor, who was supposedly part of a cancelled Wave 3. But nevertheless, this is a tribute to that. And to be honest, we needed a new Iceman in the Marvel Legends line as well. So here he is, looking really good. I do really like the packaging. A beautiful tribute. So is that shield. We get the ice slide that we've seen before. We've never seen these ice slide create an effect, so we get some hands, a snowball for the first time in the Legends line, and then two heads, a happy head and an angry head for Bobby Drake. So front on looks great. On the back of the packaging, we get a picture, and of course we get the write-up that says, while the Secret Wars rage on Battleworld, Iceman ice slides through a time-travelling misadventure, meeting his own parents before he was born. Because Iceman wasn't a part of the main Secret Wars story, he had his own mini-series at the time, I believe. But here he is now. Let's get him open. Here we have Bobby Drake, aka Iceman, out of the packaging with all of his accessories on the table. And it's nice to see an assortment here to give you some display options on the shelf. We definitely appreciate that. So we're going to take a look at all of that momentarily. But first, let's just focus on Iceman here, as everybody is going to have their preference on how best to represent an Iceman in plastic form. But I think they've done a really good job here. This is completely pinless and he is completely translucent. It's actually a great example of just action figure anatomy. As you can see, the pinless joints in a slightly different color plastic, but it doesn't stand out too much. I do think Ice is best represented as completely translucent rather than having that hint of white or the hint of blue like we have in the past. But yes, this is basically the same sort of articulation scheme on that Sunfire body, but now completely pinless and a better translucent body. If I get the tape measure out, you can see he stands at just under 6.5 inches in height, which is average Marvel Legends scale, about 16 centimeters. But like I said, this is maybe the fifth Iceman we have had in the Marvel Legends Hasbro era. So let's check him out compared to those, shall we? Starting off with a comparison here, as I guess that is what most people are intrigued to see. So here are 4 of those 5 mentioned Iceman figures. The one I'm missing, I don't actually have. It's the Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends version that came in the free pack with Firestar, and that actually had a bit of cel shading to it. So that one wasn't for me. But all of these have found their way into my collection. We've got the sort of more modern one from maybe the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure wave, and then we've got this version which is on the orange retro card, and then over here we've got the AOA Iceman, which was always very nice, but obviously very stylized to match the AOA. And yeah, that's very blue. This one has the blue translucent. This has more of a milky sort of shimmer to it, so this is definitely our best sort of translucent version. And both of these seem to be on the same body type with the same articulation scheme, with some slight upgrades in the pinless tech. They both have different belts as well, so you're not really going to be able to do any head swaps amongst any of these, as they are all a completely different colour. And in person, I definitely think the best Iceman is this new one. The translucentness is definitely the best representation, at least for me. Some people may actually prefer the slight sort of milky tone, but no, I want completely clear Iceman. So yeah, the new one is definitely an improvement, and it's completely pinless as well, so you know those joints are going to hold the test of time compared to the rest. So yeah, we'll come back to a comparison shortly, as I'm going to do a turnaround of this and the previous version. But first, let's check out these new head sculpts. I always appreciate getting different head sculpts with our Marvel Legends, with different expressions, different emotions to be displayed on the shelf, and we don't really get many smiling expressions. I know we got a smiling Captain America with the last Secret Wars version, and now we have a a smiling Bobby Drake to match, but it's really hard to tell with this translucent plastic, of course. But the eyes are whited out, and then you can also see the whiteness of his teeth. But again, across camera, it's probably not coming on really well. But if I move the angle a little bit, you can see it looks like quite a sinister grin, to be honest. But I just think it's because it's the full white against the translucent, it looks a little bit odd. But you can definitely see it there. Look, that shows you how translucent the head is as well. Really nicely done. Definitely looks like ice. It looks like I've pulled it out of my freezer, which is what it should be. So yeah, the whited out eyes with the white teeth. Nice smiling head sculpt. But of course, he's not always smiling, is he, Bobby? So let's try that angry head. The angry head sculpt has the same sort of painted details with the whited out eyes and the white teeth, but now we have an additional sort of black outline subtly around the eyes to sort of show off that angry expression in the sculpt a little bit more. As both of the head sculpts are nicely done, it's just really hard to see with the translucentness. But again, from hitting it from different angles, you can see the expressions that little bit more if my camera will stay focused, hopefully so. But yeah, now you have the angry Bobby Drake with a little bit of darkness around the eyes, but once again looks very nice. And again, you have your options for display. And unlike the previous Iceman, I can assure you both of these head sculpts have no sort of line going down the face. These are really nicely done, executed really well. So you have your options. You can have a smiling translucent Bobby Drake, or you can have your angry Iceman. It is completely up to you. Let me know which one you prefer in the comments. Taking a closer look at Iceman then, the only other paint apart from the eyes and the teeth is the black on the bout, and the bout is a separate piece. So if it's off center, you can swivel it, you can lift it up, there's the swivel at the waist. So yeah, the bout is a separate piece with the black X, of course, but otherwise it is the same Iceman sort of body, but it is now completely translucent and completely pinless from head to toe. So I do really like this. I think it's a great representation of ice. Like, I know a lot of people might actually prefer the little hint of white as it reminds them of snow, but he's not Snowman, he is Iceman. So yeah, I think this works really well. It actually gives you a great look at the anatomy of an action figure. As you can see, the joints at the ankle, the double knee, the double elbow, the shoulder, the sort of inner workings. But it works really well. Like, none of the joints are like super obvious when you look at it, but they are made of a slightly different plastic, so the colour is a little bit different. They're a little bit milkier for the knees and the elbows, but I think it works really well. You can see the discs in there for the double knee and for the ankle, but it's still really nicely translucent. Like, I've got no complaints on that at all. And in regards to the articulation, it works absolutely fine. Shoulders will go all the way up. There is a bicep swivel. You get the double jointed elbows, of course. And then the butterfly goes a lot further back than it does forward, but still great for poses. You get the crunch going that far forward and that far back, like I've showed you. You got the swivel. The legs go pretty far up as well, no complaints with that. You get the thigh cut, swivel. There's a boot cut and a swivel, even though there's no boot. Ankle pivot and rocker. And then, of course, double jointed, pinless knees. He can kick his own butt, no problem at all. And like I said, just a really nice translucent plastic throughout this Marvel Legend. So yeah, looks good. What accessories does he have? As you've seen, out of the packaging, he comes with a set of fisted hands. We also get a full set of these open hands, which are like a very loose grip, but a little bit more expressive. Hopefully he can hold his snowball. Because yes, Iceman does come with an actual snowball, and as you can see, the loose hand will grip it, and the snow is more white as well, so it stands out against the translucent plastic of Iceman. So be careful, the carpet monster will definitely want to eat this, but he will grip it loosely with his hands, so you can have Iceman throwing his snowball, but he looks very angry about it. He also has his ice slide, which we have seen before. This time it's got that translucentness and then a little bit of white on the edges for some of that sculpted spike. But the middle is translucent, like you can see my hand behind there. And there is one foot peg right there. So you can peg his foot into the ice slide. And I think he's sort of creating it. So this would be front forward. But we also get these additional pieces to sort of create the ice slide, which are brand new. Now, he's got two of these, which I suppose are symmetrical. I think they're just the same piece twice, or maybe they're not. Maybe they are slightly unique, which is absolutely fine, but they are made the exact same. So they are translucent plastic again. You can see the center there is translucent, but there is some additional white paint on some of the edges and some of the spikes for the ice slide creation, or maybe it's just hitting somebody with ice. But yeah, some more white paint on the underside there. But you can see there is a clip for the wrist. So you get two of these. Again, they do seem similar, but I do think they are unique as I'm taking a closer look. So these were definitely made of like a translucent plastic and then hit with some paint on the underside, which you can see there. So it makes it a little bit cloudy on this side, but they're going to do the job. Let's clip them to his wrist. Now it's going to take a bit of posing, so I'm sure you guys out there will do a better job than me, but they will clip onto his wrists, and they're a little bit short, so you do have to sort of crunch him over so they can sort of be level with the ice slide or level with the floor. But that is sort of the look we're going for, of Iceman creating a slide to slide on. So that is a unique element for display that we have never had before in our Marvel Legends, and it does sort of do the trick. Like, you can see what's going on there. Front on, that's what it looks like. I think maybe that one, I've got it the wrong way round. Yeah, let me spin that one round. So you clip it on the wrist, so the hand is sort of hovering over that top section, if I show you there. So that's how I've clipped it on. So it clips on so the hand is over the thicker part. And I spin that one round and it will look a little bit better now front on, because you've got the white on the front of the ice slide and white on the front of these effect pieces. So yeah, if you want your Iceman creating an ice slide, you can sort of do it. Or I guess you could use them without the slide and just use them as like ice attacks or something like that. Now, they're a little bit heavy, so the grip isn't tight enough. So as you start posing these round, they might sort of droop a little bit or fall over. But they're definitely something unique to play with that we haven't had for our Iceman before. And they definitely look like he's shooting ice to a certain extent. But I do think their intention is to be like pointing forward, to be creating the ice slide. But yeah, you can have some fun with these. I'm sure people are going to do some great pictures, some great poses. But yeah, I always appreciate seeing some new effect pieces rather than the same things used over and over again. And these are very unique for Iceman. And the last accessory is more of a tribute to that original toy line, as it came with these Lenticular shields that actually sort of show Iceman and then show Bobby Drake. Iceman and then Bobby Drake. On the last ones, we got like two cards, one with just the generic Secret Wars 40th anniversary, but this time we're in the 41st anniversary, so you only get one card, and it is this one. But yeah, it's just the same thing we've seen before. But there we go. So you can, if you wanted to choose to display with the card, you absolutely can, because it's a disc and hinge. It's a disc and a clip, like many Captain America shields. So you can clip that on his wrist. There you go. You can display it like this. And if anyone out there is lucky enough to have that original Iceman from the Secret Wars line, you can maybe pose them together, both holding their shields. And yeah, I think it is pretty rare, actually, considering it was a European exclusive. But yeah, solid tribute. Moving into comparisons, I just wanted to bring in this Iceman, as this was the one on the orange card, and this was probably the most up-to-date, sort of classic-looking version of Iceman we had. That wasn't the best, as it was a little bit milky. The head sculpt had that line running through. But let's throw them on the rotating base so you can see for yourself which one you prefer. Now, of course, the new one will structurally be better, even with that translucent plastic, as it does have the pinless joints. The old one has those pinned joints, so they will get looser over time. And yeah, it's a little bit sort of shimmery. It's like a shiny milky color, if you will. But it has got the white bout, so they do have different bouts. I do think this is a missed opportunity to give us the X Factor bout that he used to sort of give him his powers or dampen in his powers. That would have been a great accessory pack in, as Iceman has been a part of many teams. But there you go, little spin around, so you can make your own decision on this new Iceman. Is it worth the upgrade? For me, absolutely. And I also wanted to mention, if you wanted to use these ice slide effect pieces with a different version of Iceman, you absolutely can, as they just clip onto the wrist, no problem at all. But he only had the fisted hand, so it looks a little bit awkward. But if you wanted to, just for some poses or on the shelf, then you can try and make it work. But as I said, it doesn't work the best on the previous versions, but Thought you might want to see it. I thought this would be an interesting comparison, and I also never get to show off Sue Storm in my review videos. So here we have the Invisible Woman next to Iceman, and as you can see, Iceman actually does the much better job at being translucent, as Sue Storm has more of like a blue cloudy tint to her plastic. So it would be great to get a Sue Storm in this same translucentness. Thankfully, the Emma Frost that we have coming out in a diamond form that I got to reveal on the channel is in that more sort of translucentness, as it could represent a diamond as well. So yeah, Sue Storm is too blue for me, but it's personal preference. And talking of blue, here we have the other two Icemen as well, which are definitely more blue in tone. The AOA version looked like a blue Jolly Rancher, and this one is just very loose. Like over time, it is turned very floppy, unfortunately, and that's never a good thing, is it? At least that's what she said. But there we go. There is Iceman compared to Iceman and Iceman. And shout out Rich, as he let me keep hold of his Silver Surfer from the mini comic Wave 2 to show off in this Iceman video, as he thought you may want to see a comparison. So I've also brought in Rom the Space Knight as well, as both Rom and Silver Surfer are done in that sort of chrome paint, which as you can see is a lot different to the translucent plastic. This is no additional paint. The only paint on this guy are eyes, teeth and bout. The rest is just how the plastic came out of the mold, I suppose. So yeah, there we have our Iceman compared to Mini Comic Wave 2 Silver Surfer and Mini Comic Wave 1 Rom the Space Knight. I mentioned earlier that a great pack-in would have been that sort of dampener bout piece that Iceman wears during X Factor. So here we have two versions of X Factor, Marvel Legends with Jean Grey and Cyclops. Of course, Jean Grey would look much better if she had yellow boots, but as you can see, Iceman looks great with these, and he still looked like this during X Factor. He doesn't get that bout until a little bit later on. And of course, the other members of X Factor were the original X-Men Beast and Angel, and that is a custom Daisho head sculpt as well, by the way. I've got a whole video on the channel if you like the look of that. But if I bring these two back in, now as a collector, would you consider that a completed X Factor display? I don't quite think so, although the characters are correct, as these are the original 5 X-Men that got back together again to form X Factor. I think their costumes are all a little bit different, as I know Angel never had the halo on his chest. He had the same X to match Jean and Cyclops, but did Jean wear the green when Cyclops wore the blue and yellow, or did Cyclops have the blue and white when Jean wore the green? I know we still need a Jean in the red, so I know we need the bout still for Iceman. So yeah, I don't think we're quite there yet for an accurate representation of X Factor on the shelf. We've got the right characters, but the costumes are all out of order, and we need to keep them updated. If you want to see Iceman next to some Jim Lee style designs, then here we have the Love Triangle 3-pack with Wolverine, Cyclops and Jean. And for no reason at all, just because I have the black background out, here we have a couple of Marvel Legend Emma Frosts that will fall over if I sneeze in the vicinity. Achoo! Here we have a couple of Spider-Men. I apologise, my Firestar is downstairs, but we have Renew Your Vows and the Maximum series. For some villains, here we have Omega Red and Doom. And I can't be asked to grab anyone else, so instead let's wrap up with some of the Who crew, and Iceman is definitely happy about it. Look at the grin on his face. Here we have Frogman, Jeff and Tigra, and last but never least, here we have Captain Britain. And wait a minute, is that Invisible Woman? Sue, get out of here. Trying to steal more screen time. Does she always do that, by the way? Let me know in the comments. Is Sue always there? And here we have Hal, Fire, Hank. So, final thoughts on this Marvel Legends Secret Wars Bobby Drake, aka Iceman. Now, I think this is a great representation of the character, and also a worthy upgrade for a character for our Marvel Legends collection. That last Iceman was a little lackluster, and it wasn't quite right. This one, completely pinless, got the better head sculpt, some nice display options, and it fits into multiple places within your display, whether you just want it as a generic X-Men Iceman or an X-Factor Iceman. I think it's been in Champions, maybe Defenders. It's been in multiple places, is my point. So where will you put this Iceman in your display is for you to decide, but it has got some nice effect pieces, which as you can see, can be used with other versions if you wanted to. But yeah, have some fun with this one. Some people won't like the translucent nature of this because they may be maybe won't like seeing the inner workings of the action figure, and that's understandable. And again, each to their own. I'm just telling you that I like this, so you can let me know what you think in the comments below. But if you like Marvel Legends, you are absolutely in the right place. Check out the videos tab, find the playlist, but most importantly, please hit that subscribe button, hit all in the notification bell, don't miss out on a video, and please hit that join button, become a channel member, either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. You can follow me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. I'm my next Dan Who Reviews, and as always, I will see you on the next one.